Hey everyone, welcome back to KDX Bricks Analytics. I am Kevin and this is where we talk everything Lego investing and reselling, and I am going to give you my 10 over $100 Lego sets that I am most excited about right now for investing and that I am watching really close right now. Lego sets to pick up for investing is a dynamic landscape out there. Q4 is just about to start. Some sets retired at the end of July. There have been a lot of great discounts and clearance items recently. Demand and sales velocities continue to evolve. So it's a very exciting time for me for sourcing most of the sets that I want to get this year. So I want to tell you where my head's at and what my game plan is for a bunch of sets over $100. I've opened up Brick Fanatics August retirement list, so we're just going to start scrolling down and I'm going to pick out sets that I want to highlight. The first one that's over $100 is the Millennium Falcon. Not in my top 10 that I'm most excited about right now. Mos Eisley Cantina, pretty good one, but also not one I'm going to talk about right now, but I will come back and touch on all of these before the end of this video. And then there are a few other Star Wars sets over $100, but actually none of them are in my top grouping right now. So let's go to Lego ideas for the first one that I'm most excited about, and that is 21327. The Typewriter. Here it is on Brickset. Over a 3-year shelf life is a little bit concerning, but it's a 4.5 rating. Over 6,000 people own it and another 3,500 want it. Both of those metrics are great and represent solid demand, and I find that pretty interesting because this is, in a sense, kind of a boring set, but it is not. The mechanism is amazing. The color is great. The design is fantastic, but still most people's gut reaction when they first saw official images, okay, I've seen it and it's out of my mind and off my radar. And so these numbers are very good. Recent eBay sales are down a little bit from previous. These were going closer to MSRP when you added in shipping a couple of months ago. And on Amazon, sales velocity is only 300 right now. And I think it was 400 or 500 a couple of months ago. I think in general, Lego sales are down through the summer since people are on vacation and doing outside activities. So I'm not too worried about those numbers. On Camel 3X, basically never been on sale. It popped down $8 very briefly. But that's a good sign. The dotted green line shows it's been out of stock and even a little bit recently. Third-party sales are still solid, popping above MSRP when it goes out of stock. I'm still really positive on this set, even considering the latest supply and demand data. Oh, and I did mean to mention that it also only has a 1.7 enthusiasm score. If you're familiar with my videos, you'll recognize this table. So here's this set. If you are not familiar with my videos, go check out maybe a video from a couple of months ago and find one where I'm going through the enthusiasm score and mentions table. In my most recent power rankings video, I had it in the 6th slot, but I must confess, I don't have any of these yet. Oh wait, no, I do have one, and I forget, maybe that was Barnes & Noble and Stack Deals and Promos, but I'm hoping to get 5 to 10. And so my current plan on this is to keep holding out and crossing fingers that we get a decent discount. I don't think it's going to get a crazy discount, but really hoping that there can be a decent discount that we can pair up with 10% Rakuten or maybe a good GWP at Lego.com with double insider points. I'd really like to get my 5 or 10 after stacking all the promos and deals for, $190, maybe $200, but I'd really like to be in the $180, $190. I'm still holding out and fingers crossed that that will happen for us. Jumping over to the BrickBucks Ignite Discord, I wanted to show you the supply and demand data. This is a paid Lego investing group. If you want to check it out, there's a link in the description of this video. It has a first month free promo, but as you guys know, I'm not pushing or putting any pressure on anybody. This group certainly will be for some, but definitely not for everybody. But you can at least go check it out and see if there is some value to you. For me, because I want to increase my volume and increase my efficiency and also my ability to pick the best sets, this group is just fantastic for me. So much useful information. I feel like I've gotten so much smarter on the whole process. But again, not a pressure discussion at all. I'll pull up the supply and demand data on a few of the sets that we talk about in this video. So looking at this chart, a lot of great information here. At a glance, green is good, yellow is okay, and then red is bad. Left side of the table is all about demand, sales rank, average daily rank drops. The higher number, the better, because both of these indicate high sales velocity. And then right side of the table is how often the set is out of stock on Amazon, and then what the price goes to when it is out of stock. So in the last year, it's been out of stock 70% of the time. Retail is $250 and it's $271. I know the delta above MSRP MSRP isn't huge, but the fact that it is going above MSRP when it goes out of stock is a fantastic sign. Back to Brick Fanatics retirement list. Second one I want to highlight is Jazz Quartet 21334. It's $99.99. I'm rounding to $100 for the sake of this video. 2.5 years shelf life, but another 4.5 on Brickset. Much lower demand showing on Brickset, only 3,000 own it and 1,500 want it. As you can see, I already own 2, and I hope to get about 10. I got these 2, I think from Barnes & Noble. They were doing triple stamps. They were discounted, and then Rakuten, and also a card cash gift card where I saved another 10-12%. And I think after all that, I was around $55 or $60 per unit. On eBay, same story as the Typewriter. It's going for a little less than it was a couple of months ago, but on Amazon, a decent 600 per month sales velocity, and the secondary listing is at $177. Obviously, people are going to buy off of this listing anytime that it is in stock, but the secondary listing are investors who are already reselling, and they've got them loaded up in here and listed at a higher price for when the primary listing goes out of stock. So that's kind of a cool trick that some people are pulling off there, and they don't know exactly when it will go out of stock, but when it does, they'll have theirs loaded up, and if they are selling Amazon FBA, then they'll already be at the Amazon warehouse and ready to ship on out by the fulfilled by Amazon process. But kind of funny, another set that I really like for investing with a low enthusiasm score, only 2 and only 4 or 5 mentions so far. So my current feeling is that this one is still very much flying under the radar and will have a pretty solid runway. I hope to get at least 10, and I do think that there's a high probability that this one will go at least 20% off, and then again, maybe we stack a couple of other promos and I could source a few more at the $55 or $60 equivalent. I definitely don't want to buy either of these first 2 sets at full MSRP, and I think the max I would go is 25% equivalent discount. Oh, and I meant to show you the BrickBucks supply and demand bot on this one too, and there is some red, mostly yellow, but the Amazon price when it's out of stock is a solid $125 to $135 for the $100 set. All right, that's enough ideas sets. Let's go to Marvel, because I've got one in here I definitely want to highlight, and that is, where did it go? Did I skip it? It is, here we go. Sanctorum 76218, $250, 2708 pieces, 9 minifigures, 7 unique. So I think that's a pretty decent price. 4.5. So I picked another one with a high Brickset rating. And remember, 4.5 on Brickset is really high. A lot of sets are in the low 4s. I know on Lego.com, everything's like a 4.8. I don't really trust those ratings, but on Brickset, they're pretty good. 4.5 is high. You can't see it in this picture, but on the other 2 sides, it has the pinholes to fit in with modular buildings. So this is basically a corner modular. Remember, no modulars are scheduled to retire at the end of this year. Of course, that could change anytime, but at this point in the year, the Brick Fanatics list is usually 99% accurate. So I don't think any modulars are going to retire this year. So that could certainly give this one a bump. And wow, over 10,000 people on Brickset own this one. Only a 2.1 enthusiasm score on my analytics table, so it seems like it's still flying under the radar. On Amazon right now, it looks like the main listing is out of stock, so it's already bumped up a few dollars to $270. But I want to show you retired modular buildings on Amazon. The police station that retired now 8 months ago is from $200 to $350. Now remember, subtract out about 30% for shipping and fees. So that means if people were able to get some deals and source a bunch of these at $175 equivalent, after shipping and fees, they're doing $250. That's $75 to $100 profit already on a set that just retired last year. The Parisian restaurant over $400. This diner that's awesome is $470. Even the Creator Pet Shop that was MSRP below $200 is doing decent. And then there are older ones that are obviously doing really well. Quick look at Camel 3X. It hasn't been on sale. Third-party sales goes out of stock, and this one jumps a fair amount. So yeah, because of all of that data, I am definitely watching this one closely for a really good deal. And this is a set that I know for sure I don't have any of, but I hope to get about 5. And I bet that we'll have an opportunity at about 175 equivalent after stacking all the deals and promos. But we just have to be patient. Like I said at the top of this video, I like to do most of my sourcing late in the year, as much in Q4 as possible. And so this is the time that I'm really fired up to watch these set closely and be ready to make the purchases when the deal is right. All right, let's keep scrolling. Harry Potter, I know there won't be any in here that I want to highlight. Indiana Jones, yes, I do want to highlight the Temple of Golden Idol Diorama set 77015. 5. I haven't talked a lot about this set in my previous videos. Generally, I've been saying that I like it, but I want it on an awesome discount. I do own one. I've built it. The action features are awesome. The details are awesome. But I'm covering this set as one of my top 10 that I am excited about and watching very closely right now for 2 reasons. Number one, it seems like the new standard price is $127. I actually looked on Target and I can't find it right now, so maybe it's out of stock, but Target is showing, if I recall correctly, Target is showing this price, the regular price, at $127, while Amazon is still showing it as a discount. And so if Target is showing the new regular price at 20% off, then I think there's a good chance that Target will put it on another 20% off at some point. And now we're down near $100 and, you know, use the 5% Target red card, maybe a little Rakuten. And now I think I'm in business for wanting to pick some of this set up. And then the other big reason I'm watching this one closely is because somebody commented on one of my recent videos that a new video game called Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is coming out in 2024. Could certainly keep the pop culture buzz going. It could be a pretty popular set. Here it is on Brickset. Less than a 2-year shelf life is solid and a 4.7. That's great. 6,700 own it, so there's definitely demand for it. If the good deals come, my plan is to pick up 5, hopefully at $100 or less. Oh, and I forgot, it comes with a light brick that is perfectly placed over the idol. I really love building this one. And now let's look at Technic, and you would think that I might pass over Technic, but there is one on here that I have actually had in my power rankings video, and that is the John Deere Skitter. $200 is a lot for the 1492 pieces, but it is super cool looking. I love the classic John Deere color scheme, all of the pneumatic action features. 4.4 on Brickset, really good for a Technic. Less than a 2-year shelf life, but only just over 1,000 people own it. It has 2 mentions with an E-score of 2 on my analytics table. Only 100 are selling per month on Amazon. The Camel 3X chart doesn't look good. Third-party sales are below MSRP generally. And just to throw in there for fun, the part out value isn't great either. 273 to 374. Most of the time, Technic part out values aren't that good anyways. So I'm probably crazy for loving this set. Look, I pick up some sets, you know, the Star Wars, Speed Champions, because a lot of times they're evergreen sets, and in my opinion, they'll do solid returns on investment for me. But every year I like to pick a few that are in the high risk, high reward category, you know, the little higher gamble. And I think this one fits the bill for that. I've already picked up 3 only at 25% off. So $150 all in. And that still is pretty expensive. I'm hoping to get a couple to 5 more, maybe around $130, but that's probably pushing it. Technic doesn't typically go on huge discounts. Back to why I'm going for this one, even though it's high risk, high reward, is because these 3 sets are the only Lego John Deere sets that have ever been produced. They're all very new, and they are the first wave. I hope Lego does a few more. I believe there's a huge following for farm vehicles and farm sets, and now that you put the best farming company colors and branding and designs into them, I think people are going to be going big time for these on the secondary market. And because of all of the demand data that we just looked at, I think it's flying under the radar, and there will not be a lot of these out there on the secondary market. So I don't think it's going to take much demand with what I expect to be low supply for these to jump once they retire. And if you look at other Technic and even city farming and construction vehicles, a lot of them, especially original types or original branding, are doing really well. I have it 9th on my most recent power rankings video, so we'll see where it goes. I'll like to talk about this one in a year or two and score myself, grade myself on how I judge this set based on its performance on the secondary market. Now let's go to icons and talk about 10283, the NASA Shuttle Discovery. The build is amazing, but that's not why I'm investing in it. It's because it is a great educational, historical, smart NASA set. NASA sets, in my opinion at this point, are evergreen sets. Space Station 70 to 86, and many were picking these up for 40% off, so that's really good. Let's see if there's anything up there. Nope, let me scroll down to some other ones. Saturn V, it was so good, Lego released it twice, and both of them are up a little bit, 120 to 160. Actually, that's a little bit more than a little bit, because again, people were getting these on sale. And then there are some older ones like this Ideas Mars Rover, $30 to a cool $400. That would be awesome. The original Space Station, 15 to 100. I think the Venn diagram between people who like to build Lego and people who are interested in science and technology and space, I think that overlaps overlaps a fair amount. You know, there's a lot of similar interest to building a Lego set and enjoying the construction aspect of it and appreciating all of the very advanced design techniques that Lego designers are putting into the sets these days. And then people that, you know, are really interested into science and space exploration and technology. But with all that said, this one only has a 2.2 enthusiasm score. It does have about 15 mentions, so that's decent. Over 13,000 people own it, another 4,000 want it. Wow, I didn't realize that the demand is that high on this one. The Camel 3X chart looks great. Let me flip on the third party new, and I missed the button. Let me try that again. There we go. I mean, look at that jump. 235, 260, close to 300. I'm not saying it's going to double from the MSRP, but I think it'll be a solid 300 to 350 on Amazon soon after retirement. Again, assuming that there is no zombie stock. The supply and demand bot looks pretty good. Some green, a lot of yellow, and only one red. It's been out of stock a fair amount. Look at those percentages. I have one, I want five, and I'm hoping to be around the $135 to $145 price point. And sticking with icons, I gotta highlight the Eldorado Fortress, set 10320, $215 price point, 2,509 pieces and 9 minifigures for that very, very fair $215. 4.4 on brick set, over 5,000 own it. All good metrics right there. Obviously, the set looks amazing. We don't get many pirate sets, and everybody loves pirates. Okay, maybe not everybody, but most people love Lego pirates, and this is a really good looking set. I've built one myself, and I loved it. And glancing over at my e-score mentions table, now we're getting to a good one. About 20 mentions and an e-score of 2.4. I do have an 8th in my power rankings video, but I'm watching this one closely because there's a little bit of a mystery out there. On eBay, there are many copies selling for MSRP or a little bit over. Yes, it includes shipping and fees, but 220, that one's pretty close. Another 220, and then 307, 220 plus $20 in shipping. People are paying over MSRP on eBay, and that is a great sign. But on Amazon, the sales velocity is only 200. Just a few weeks ago, it was only 100. And I saw a couple of comments, people asking, hey, what is going on with this set? Why is the sales velocity so low? I don't know why it's low. If anybody has any theories or knows what's going on, please let me know, because I think for me, this set is a slam dunk. Now, remember, I don't give any financial advice. This is all for entertainment purposes. But for me, this is one that I want to watch closely. The other reason is because it went on that huge discount at Target about a month ago. I think it was it 40% off? I picked one up, but I can't remember what I got it for. Yeah, I just looked it up and I got it for $150, and it went out of stock within hours of that deal. And so everything I'm seeing says the demand is there, yet it's barely selling on Amazon. No idea why. If we look at the Camel 3X chart, it has gone above MSRP in the past. There aren't many sales there because of the dotted line, but now it's tracking at or below MSRP. That's a little bit concerning. I definitely want to pick a few more up, but of course, I'm a little nervous about it now. And so I want another $150 or less discount deal on it. And I'll be curious to see if that actually happens. And this might be one that I have in my power rankings and I'm excited about, but the one that I have is all I get. Let's see what other sets I want to pull out from the retirement list. Here we are on Ninjago, and I can't remember if there's anything that I wanted to look at here. And oh geez, that's right, the first one on the list, Ninjago City Gardens. Yes, I don't have it in my power rankings, but I've been giving it honorable mentions, and now that we're close to the end of the year, this is one I want to watch closely, and fingers crossed for some deals or discounts. It's a beautiful set, tons of pieces. It's very sizable, but it goes vertical, which is great because people always have more vertical space on their shelves, but not as much horizontal. So it's huge, but it's actually very reasonable to display. 4.6 on brick set, over 10,000 own it for a $350 set. I realize it's been out since 2021. So yeah, a lot of opportunity people to buy it. I'm not worried about the long shelf life because the two other Ninjago City sets more than doubled on the secondary market. If we look at City Gardens on Amazon, third-party sellers are already almost $100 over MSRP. And then this is great. The Camel 3X chart, it's been out of stock and it's just growing and growing and growing. That's the trend that we want to see, just that nice upward trend line. I have one for personal collection. I really want to get 5, but that $350 price point is a lot. I don't think we're going to get many sales on this one, so I'm hoping to stack double insider points with a decent GWP, and we'll see where we go from there. So 5 might not be in the cards for me. Maybe I'll only only get 3. Oh, and I meant to mention over 10 mentions, but an enthusiasm score of 2.6. I'd probably want to hold them for a couple of years and then try Facebook Marketplace. It's a lot to be shipping around, and there's a lot of risk. If I could pick up a few for 300 or less, that'd be awesome, but I feel like the best equivalent I'm going to be able to do on this is around 310 or so. And oh, by the way, it has a part out value of $600 to $800, well above double MSRP. That's awesome. I don't have any other Ninjago sets to highlight, so we'll go on to the next theme, which is DREAMZzz. And I'm actually going to stop here. I know you guys think I'm crazy, but actually most of you have heard me say and agree that there's one set in here that is awesome, and that is the Nightmare Shark Ship 71469. Super cool looking set. I really want to build one myself. I actually already have 3 of these, and one of them may fall victim to me tearing open the product and building it and, you know, playing with it with my kids and everything. $140 is pretty expensive, but just over a year shelf life is great, and a 4.5 on brick set. I know that DREAMZzz are not very popular, and that's been a real struggle for Lego, the sales on the sets and the show itself. Maybe they can get that turned around. They do have a few new ones coming out that look great, but there's not a lot of demand according to the brick set data. But on Amazon, 600 sold in the last month. Now I realize that's because it's been on sale recently, but still not bad for a theme that is not very popular and a price point of over $100. Like I said, I have 3 and I just got those at 50% off. There was tons of buzz out there on the Discords saying, hey, go check out your Walmarts. A bunch of stuff went on clearance, 50% off. So I got this one and a bunch of other great sets. And so I was thrilled to pick up the only 3 that I could find at the $70 price point. Full disclosure, I do have this one in 3rd place on my power rankings video. And honestly, I didn't get too many comments saying that I was nuts. So I think a lot of people are feeling the same as me. I'm watching this one closely for 2 main reasons. One, it's DREAMZzz, and that theme is so unpopular that we've seen many discounts already. So I just knew that this one would get a good discount at some point, and I don't think we're done. I think we'll get another shot at it. And then the other big reason I'm watching it is because many people talk about how great of a build this is and how unique and cool it is. And remember, with the DREAMZzz theme, you build a very plain base model, and then you can go one of 2 directions. So this is the ship, and then looking at the back of the box, you can see that there's a land vehicle here, and both of those look super awesome. And so I think the appeal is there, but it is really flying under the radar for investors. So I don't think we're going to need much demand on the secondary market because the supply, in my view, is going to be pretty low. And just to have fun, here's a supply and demand table with a lot of red on it. As expected, I'm not letting that slow me down. I'm going to be hard-headed and I'm going for this set, but again, only on that huge discount. Oh, and don't forget, my videos are for entertainment purposes only. I do not provide financial advice. You got to get that from somebody else. I've got 2 more sets to highlight that I am most enthusiastic about, and I just realized that adding those 2 sets comes to a total of 11, so an inadvertent bonus set in this video. Neither of them are DC or are Mario or Sonic. Nothing in the Creator. Speed Champions are below $100 price point. Nothing in Disney. And Jurassic World, I want to stop here, which might be a little bit of a surprise to you, but I want to highlight the Visitor Center 76961. I really don't like the build of this set. It is such a disappointment with how open it is around the back and the fact that the entryway flares out towards you, which means the definition of the interior space is even more ambiguous. So I really don't like that. The dinosaurs are okay, but the reason I'm highlighting it is because I found 2 of them at Walmart for 50% off. And I also found the Brachiosaurus set, and I think I picked up 12 of those for 50% off. Even though this wave of Jurassic Park sets isn't selling that well, they are all from the original movie, which is an awesome movie, remains very, very popular. Because they're not selling too well, we're already seeing huge discounts on them, so I'm excited that maybe we'll get some more opportunity to get these Jurassic World, Jurassic Park sets at 50% off, and at that price, I'm pretty excited about it. There's no way in the world that I would buy this anywhere near MSRP, but I think paying $65 leaves pretty good runway, especially with these 2 pretty good dinosaurs. Having a T-Rex, of course, is great. 4.2 on brick set. That's actually a little higher than I thought it would have been. And I'm not surprised by the 2,000 and 1,400 that own it and want it. The demand is just not that high. And glancing over at my enthusiasm and mentions table, 3 mentions and an E-score of 1.3. So very few people are investing in this set. Of course, many people, once they saw it go on a great discount, picked it up for investment, but it's not like there are a lot of units out there at the great discount. Talking about low demand, here's one for $80 with free shipping on eBay. $90, so it is nowhere near MSRP on eBay. And then on Amazon, heavily discounted and, decent 400 units in the last month. The Camel 3X chart is not surprising. Lots of discounts, and the third-party sellers are tracing Amazon's main listing. But with all that said, I do want to watch it very closely because there can be very good money in dinosaurs. Of course, the original dinos and the older and original Jurassic Park and Jurassic World sets are doing much better. Looking at brick set, and I had to go all the way back to sets that retired in 2021 to find some that showed an actual ROI. So all of the dino sets that retired in 23 or 22 are actually losing money right now. But here's a small $20 set that's to 27, 100 to 140. This is interesting. I think Bear Onyx Face-Off is down from $60 to 52. But then you got this cool Triceratops that retired in 2020, up from 60 to 72. It is worth pointing out the T-Rex has a unique tailpiece, unique torso, and also the unique headpiece. I'm looking at an article on Jay's Brick blog showing not all of the T-Rex molds and printings out there, but a good chunk of them. And they all look really cool, and the new one will fit well in this lineup. So on the one hand, this design is unique to this set, but on the other hand, it doesn't look much different other than the color and printing of previous T-Rexes. So my big question is a new T-Rex and a new color and print of much value or interest? I think because T-Rex is the most iconic dino, there's still something there, but obviously the resellability of molded dinos is not what it used to be. So yeah, I'm going to watch closely to see if I can find any more 50% off. That's the most I would pay for this set, but I figure I already have 2 of this SKU, and it's, a fair amount of effort to list a SKU on eBay or Amazon, and then it's not much effort just to increase the quantity from 2 to 5 or 10. So if I find more at 50% off, I will pick them up. And now let's highlight a Monkie Kid set that I am watching closely, and that is 80049 Dragon of the East Palace, 1.5-year shelf life, $190 for 2364 pieces, 9 minifigures. 8 of them are exclusive. Exclusive Monkie Kid minifigures aren't that special, but it's something. But most importantly, this is an out of this world, amazing looking set. Very low demand for it. I've heard the show is pretty good. If this one does well as an investment, it will mostly be because of very, very low supply on the secondary market. So for me, a little bit of a gamble, but if there is low enough supply, then it won't take much demand for it to do okay. On my mentions table, nothing. No positive, no negative mentions. Basically never talked about, but I do have it 4th on my power rankings video. So it'll definitely be a flyer if I'm able to pick some up. Here on eBay, not bad. $250 with shipping on top. So that's well over MSRP. And then another one that's over MSRP when you add shipping, but only 2 sold since May 19th. But the reason I really want to watch Dragon of the East Palace closely is because of last year's Heavenly Realm set, the other $190 landscape building scene Monkie Kid set. This one jumped immediately right after retirement on eBay. $320 with shipping on top, $360, $350. That's all the data I can find on it so far. I have not picked any up. I definitely will get one for personal collection at minimum, but I haven't picked any up because I haven't seen it on sale. And I'm really hoping that this and a few other of the Monkie Kid sets go on a really good sale at lego.com right at the end of the year, just like right at the end of last year when a few Monkie Kid sets went on sale, and they were really good sales. So I'm looking at last year's patterns and I'm being patient and holding out. But if this one never has a great discount, then I'm just going to miss out, and I'm probably going to be kicking myself if I do. Back to the top of the retirement list, I will give you a quick thought as to where my head is on all of the other $100 or more sets that I didn't highlight in my top 10. And so we got to hit some Star Wars sets. First is the Playscale Millennium Falcon that's been out since 2019. $170 is way overpriced. Once this one retires, Lego will make another one. I know we've got the midi scale out, and then we've got the Dark Falcon that just came out. That one is really cool. So because both of those, maybe it will be a couple years before we get a more canonical Playscale Millennium Falcon. At Target, the new retail price is $136. I am skipping this set for investing unless Target does like a 40% discount on the new lowered standard price. Mos Eisley Cantina, $400, out since 2020. You guys know I love this set, but I just worry about it being too expensive and therefore too much risk in storing and shipping and ultimately reselling the set. So even though I am convinced it is going to go up in value, I'm going to be passing unless there is some wild 50% off deal. The larger of the two R2D2s on the market right now is an easy pass because it is too bulky, too expensive, and Lego has a really great $100 R2D2 with the Darth Malak minifigure. The $850 UCS ATAT. My guess is it's a $1,500 set in a couple of years, but another one I don't want to take risk on. Maybe if I can find one for $550, I would just take a gamble and say, hey, worst case scenario, I'll love having it in my own collection, but it's not one that I'm focusing on for investing. Luke Skywalker's UCS Land Speeder. Everybody hates this set. There's a chance it'll be a $350 set in a couple of years, but I'm not taking that risk unless I find it for $125. The Mandalorian Fang Fighter versus TIE Interceptor is a pass for me. $100 is so much for, yeah, a good TIE Interceptor, but everything else is very underwhelming. And now that we have the new UCS TIE Interceptor, why would anybody pay a premium for this when they can spend the $230 to get a really awesome larger UCS TIE Interceptor? Emperor's Throne Room Diorama. I still love the dioramas, but obviously I am biased, but these builds are amazing. $100 is so expensive, but the intricacy of how the window in the back was put together with all those little windows is so good. I think they're going to do well, but now it's looking like really long hold time. And so I'm less enthusiastic to take those on. I even saw a couple of them at $50 at Walmart recently, and I passed because there were so many other great sets for 50% off at Walmart that, I couldn't pick up everything. So I got those instead. And I don't know, maybe I'm just going to skip out on the two dioramas that are retiring this year. But I do have a bunch of the original wave, and I got those, I think, average 40% off. So those will still work out for me, I think. E-Wing versus Shin Hati Starfighter just came out in September, so just over a year shelf life is pretty good. $110 doesn't seem terrible. I mean, probably $90 would be about best. Both ships look decent. I'd much prefer to have a $100 set with just one larger ship, but the minifigures are really good. I know Ahsoka Season 1 was a little bit of a disappointment. Hopefully Season 2 is better, but all these minifigures are exclusive and they're pretty well done. So I'm not enthusiastic about this one. I'm not watching it that closely, but I am prepared if it does go 40% off and then maybe some insider points on top of it. Yavin 4 Rebel Base, this messy set at $170 for just over 1,000 pieces. It's pretty terrible from just about every angle, but it does have 12 minifigures. 7 of them are exclusive. I picked up 2 of this set at $103, and then I saw one more at $80 recently, and I passed on that. I would need to be more than 50% off to get any more. The only reason I picked up the 2 was because even though it's hideous, I do like some of the minifigures, and so I wanted to pick one up for my own collection, and there were 2 on the shelf at the time, and I said, hey, at $100, it's not like, I'm gonna lose. At worst case, I'll break even, or maybe I'll just save it for myself for some time in the future. And then last from the Star Wars is Chewbacca. I expect this one to get huge discounts, but probably not low enough for me. I need it under $100, and then I'll be picking some up because of the new C-3PO and the smaller $100 R2-D2. All 3 of them scale together. They're 3 of the most iconic characters, obviously from original trilogy, but I think it would still have a longer hold time at $100. Now let's look at Ideas, the Treehouse that's been out since 2019. One of my all-time favorite sets that I've ever built. I'm not planning on picking any up, but I am actually watching it because I've heard some people make the good point that investors that picked this set up 2-3 years ago, when it was first expected to retire, must have liquidated for the most part by now, because that is so much money to tie up in a set that just keeps falling off of the retirement list. And so maybe there isn't going to be much supply once it finally does retire. It could go on a pretty heavy discount from one of the retailers if it actually is going to retire. The Fender Stratocaster at $120, but is normally 20% off, is a set I'm really high on because, again, it's consistently $95, and I bet we get another 20% off that sometime. And so if I can pick a few up in the $70 or so range, I would definitely want to do that. It seems to be quietly doing decent for Lego. And one little side note, my 10-year-old just got into guitar, so we've gotten him a few lessons, and so we bought him a little Stratocaster, just a little beginner one, and he's loving it, and it's really fun to watch him be all excited about coming home from school and picking his guitar up. And so we'll see where he takes that, but maybe he'll figure it out a little bit. I definitely tried to learn some guitar a couple of times as a kid, and I was an absolute failure. My wife likes to joke with me that I can't even clap to the beat of a song, so music, at least rhythm, is not my thing, but enjoying music is definitely my thing, and building a Lego set like this, absolutely. Even though I am terrible at guitar, I grew up with West Coast 90s alternative rock, so I absolutely want to build this set for my own collection. And then the Globe, I actually think this is going to do a little better than a lot of people think, but I wouldn't invest in it unless I got it for 50% off. And now the Office, the Walmart exclusive Office. This is one I'm pretty high on, not top 10 high at this price point, but top 20 high. Some of the sitcom sets have done really well. Some of them have been slow out of the gate. The Office is one of the most watched shows in history. I think it's 15 minifigures, all of the Easter eggs. So I'm just waiting for when it goes on sale, and I bet that happens, and I want to pick a few up. And similar story with the A-frame cabin. You guys know I love the outdoors and camping, so this is a must-have in my personal collection, but I'm just waiting for that discount. Some investors on YouTube love it, and some really hate it and are saying it's going to do terrible. Honestly, I don't have great confidence in it, but I feel like it's one that has underperformed for Lego, so I think a decent discount is coming, and when that happens, I do want to pick some up. And I think it pairs well with the treehouse, obviously, and if the treehouse can continue to have a lot of demand around it, I think this one could join forces and hopefully ride the coattails. And then the last one in ideas is BTS Dynamite. We all know this is a bad investment. However, I own, I think, 8 of them because Walmart put them for 30 bucks about 6 months ago. That price, no brainer. The band had to take a pause because one or a few of them had to do their South Korean military service, but they're going to be back on tour, I think, next year, so it should get a little bump. Now we'll go to Marvel. I don't think there's a ton in here at the $100 or higher price point, but we do have the very large UCS Hulkbuster, I guess. I'm sure it's barely selling at the 30% off price point. It has tons of mentions against investing. Unless you're a Bricklink seller, then I think the part out value is decent at these pretty good sales prices. Otherwise, easy pass. The Avengers Quinjet is a pass for me. I haven't put a lot of time into researching this set, but the supply and demand bot has a lot of red and a lot of yellow and only one green. We all know the demand for Marvel sets is way down right now. I've passed up on this set at 50% off, and it looks like that is, oh yeah, we've got a couple more. Captain America's shield. No. I've beat up this set to a pulp. The back, oh boy. No. So expensive at $200. It is not going to follow in the path of Thor's hammer. You never know, I could be wrong, but definitely a pass for me. And then lastly, $100 or more is Endgame Final Battle. Another one I've passed up on at 50% off. Minifigures and the big fig are cool. I know the set is pretty representative to the source material, but it just looks so choppy. I don't see the appeal for displaying it. Now, in a Harry Potter, I'm sure there's a few sets to look at. Hogwarts Chamber of Secrets. I'm pretty down on Harry Potter sets right now because it seems like the demand is in a trough, but we all love Harry Potter in my family, so we still love the Harry Potter sets for personal collection. Just recently, it looks like some of the Harry Potter sets are starting to tick back up on the secondary market, so maybe they're just a little bit longer hold time, and this one is pretty good. There's a lot going on in this set. Of course, a lot of minifigures and Nagini. Decent detail. I'm a little tired of the tan and sand green buildings, but this is the last one that goes into the mega castle where you have 8 sets and you put it all together. I forget all the details on that. So if I happen to come across a fantastic deal, maybe, but gonna be passing for the most part. Hogwarts Express Collector's Edition. I honestly don't know. There aren't a lot of good comparables, but I'm just not gonna risk it. I mean, it seems like an amazing display piece, and I'm sure there are tons of Harry Potter fans that would love to have this on their mantle, over their fireplace. I know fireplaces are a big part of some key Harry Potter events, so I could see the appeal there, but it just seems too risky for me. And that is it with Harry Potter at $100 or more. So now we go on to Indiana Jones. We already talked about the expensive diorama. And then let's look at Technic very briefly. The vast majority of these are easy passes, like the Porsche 911 RSR that's been out since 2019. I want it for personal collection because I love all of the Technic cars, mostly the larger ones, but even the $50 ones are pretty cool. You would think since 2019 I would have picked this up by now, but I still don't have one. The Airbus Rescue Helicopter has no buzz. I'm sure very low demand. It's cool, but I wouldn't want it for personal collection. The Firefighter aircraft, this one is actually kind of cool. I like the color scheme a lot. It's funny, when you see the aircraft design they went with, I immediately think, hey, there's a group of mountain climbers that are about to land in some high altitude location and go on their adventure, or they're putting out fires. And as you can see from the little gear here, there's actually a mechanism to drop some blue pieces representing water. I would kind of like one for my own collection, but my main issue is the nose. That just got botched. This thing needs a nose job, and then I would really want to pick it up, but not for investing. Got some other icon sets to point out. Ghostbusters Ecto 1. Not my thing. We've talked about it a lot. Way too expensive. But somebody did comment that an animated Ghostbusters series just got picked up for Netflix, so that might help this one out a little bit. It's still a pass for me. The Loop Coaster is a major pass for me. It's a super fun set, but the previous coaster, similar size and price, is selling at retail on the secondary market at best. The Brick Built Icons vehicle shed Chevy Camaro. I think all of these vehicles that are not super stylized, the ones that really are designed to be clean and pure to a sports car or muscle car, are awesome. I'm surprised how little buzz there is around these. I still think they're going to do decent, but clearly it's going to be a very, very long hold time, and I'm not sure I want to invest in sets for a longer hold time, but I do have one for personal collection. I will be watching it for a possible discount. The Atari 2600 is an absolute pass, even though the set design is fantastic. It's been on sale on lego.com a lot, sometimes even as good as 40% off. I'm nostalgic. I played one of these when I was like a tiny kid. My parents pulled it out of the box one day and it was a blast to play. Holiday Main Street, the annual $100 Christmas Winter Village set that comes out and then 2 years later retires. I love that Lego's keeping these at the $100 price point. I don't like this one because it's broken up into a bunch of little components and elements. These buildings are really narrow, only like 5 or 6 studs deep. Open in the back. Previous Christmas sets have done well. Lately, not so well. Maybe at the right price, but I don't want to watch this one. It's just not one that I want to start up a new SKU to invest in. And then another brick built vehicle, the Corvette. This one's only been out since last August, just over a year shelf life. Yeah, it's an older vehicle, but very well designed, beautiful color. But I feel the same way about this one as I do the Chevy Camaro. Feel like there's got to be some demand there, but it doesn't look like it so far, and therefore, at best, a longer hold time. Couple of retiring architecture sets. One's over $100, the Taj Mahal. I don't know much about architecture because by the time I really started investing, the architecture sets were on the tail end in terms of quantity that Lego was producing, and lego.com is dying on me, so let's go over to brick set. So here's the set, only a 3.9 on brick set. Not very good. I mean, I know one of the previous Taj Mahals is doing decent, but I'm not gonna spend the time researching or learning this theme. Can't invest into every theme. Sure, there's a few Ninjago sets over $100 to look at. Zane's Ice Dragon Creature. I rarely invest in Ninjago unless I happen to see, a clearance at Walmart while I'm out and about. But I do know that Ninjago dragons historically do well, so there could be something with this one. $100 doesn't seem to be a terrible price. And then Elemental Dragon versus the Empress Mech. This one's also kind of cool. Seems like there's a lot going on here, but $130 for 1,038 pieces? What happened there? But it does have a 4.5 on brick set. Only 978 members own it, so I'm not risking it. Destiny's Bounty Race Against Time at $160. I know it's canonically accurate, but it's so ugly. And my issue is this one from 2017 is so good that how could anybody downgrade to this new one, especially at $160? That's it for Ninjago. And now on to DREAMZzz. These are mostly lower price point, but we do have Mr. Oz's Space Bus at $100. I've passed on this set at 50% off. Some of the DREAMZzz sets I really like, but not this one. And same thing with the Fantastical Treehouse. This is so ugly. Sorry, but it's so ugly. It reminds me of this Friends Treehouse. Maybe not a fair comparison, but ooh, they're both pretty rough. $80 down to 67. I think Fantastical Treehouse is going to follow the same path. In Batman and DC, we've got the big tumbler. I'm not risking it at $270. I know it's got a 4.4 on brick set. 5,000 people own it, but again, it's just another SKU I don't want to dive into unless it was 50% off. I know I say that a lot, and I know that's wishful thinking with this set. So yeah, pass for me. And then the Batcave Shadow Box. This is extremely well designed. It opens up all the interior details. Yes, a ton of black with a little bit of gray in there, but the Batmobile design is unique to all other Batmobile designs. I love when the light hits it, how it frames the bat signal. $400 is maybe reasonable, but I wouldn't want to pay that for this set. But I do wonder if it will go to $250 briefly, and at that price I might have to pick a couple up. I kind of want one for personal collection, and I would be curious. I feel like this is one that could have a cult following after a little longer of a hold time. Not a Super Mario, and the only one over $100 is the Nintendo Entertainment System. I've talked about it a lot. I don't really like it, so I'm going to pass on this one. A few creator sets to look at. The Medieval Castle. I definitely have my eyes on this one. $100 for 1426 pieces. All 3 builds are good. Tons of rebrickable builds and mocks. When you have a pile of pieces that can form together and make great castle components and elements, there's so much you can do with it. People love castle. Even the Castle minifigures. It's been 20% off a few times. I'm keeping my eye out. I'm hoping that we catch a slightly better discount, and I'd like to pick some of this one up. 31141 Main Street is a pretty rough set at the $140 price point, only a 3.6 on brick set. So definitely a pass, other than the fact that I do own 4 of them because Walmart had them maybe 4 months ago for $56 each. That price, I'm picking them up. Obviously no $100 sets in Speed Champions. Same thing with the collectible minifigures. I'm sure there are some in Disney. These are all passes. The Ultimate Adventure Castle, I do own 4 because Disneystore.com was selling them for 50% off. I actually think even 60% off. And so those went out of stock quickly. I saw somebody post the deal on the Discord and I jumped right on it. So at that price, good to go, but nowhere near full MSRP would I be grabbing this one, even though the colors are really cool on this one. I could see kids loving this set. The Wish Castle, King Magnificos. This one's been on sale a lot and nobody picks it up. Same thing with Little Mermaid Royal Clamshell. Yeah, 1,400 people own it. Only a 4.1 on brick set. A lot going on, but $160 is expensive. And then the Villain Icons, a few people have commented that there might be something with this set because of the minifigures, and the build apparently is pretty good. I'm still not liking it. I don't like the components, you know, the books and the clock, the apple, the VHS. I don't know. They just don't look like items I would love to display in Lego form. I mean, I like having books on my bookshelf, but you know, if I'm going to display something in Lego form, I want more intricacy and detail. And so for me, I would be interested if it had double or even triple the villain minifigures. Now we're talking, but only 4 villain minifigures? There's a lot more Disney villains than that. Come on, Lego. But it is only $130 for 1540 pieces. And then there's one other set in Jurassic World above $100. Same story. If I find it for 50% off, I'd pick it up. Otherwise, it's a pass. There are some expensive Monkey Kid sets retiring that I do like. First one's City of Lanterns. I feel the same about this as I do Dragon in the East Palace, but I like Dragon in the East Palace a little bit better, mostly because it's a shorter shelf life. This one's been out since 22 early, so it's a 3-year shelf life, but I think it's another Monkey Kid gem. But with all the Monkey Kids, I don't go deep because I think it's going to be hard to sell in volume. You know, maybe just 3 to 5 of them and I'll be patient, and I think they will sell eventually. The Team Hideout looks pretty good, but not as exciting to look at or play with or even build, it seems to me, as some of the others. So lower on my list of Monkey Kid priorities. 4.4 on brick set is pretty good though. I do like the Monkey King Ultra Mech because the first one they did, all the parts budget didn't go into the mech itself. There are a few side builds. This one is all mech with some minifigures. Very, very well designed in my opinion. And $160 for the 1,700 pieces doesn't seem bad. And I think we will get a shot at maybe a 40 or so % discount. And then last one to look at is May's Dragon Mech. DG Bricks and I talked about this one on a recent podcast and he kind of liked it and I do not. Look, only 242 members on Brickset own it. Same story. I don't like all of the side build parts. I want a big, good, beefy mech with some minifigures. All right, and then City, a bunch of City sets, obviously. And I never invest in City other than the occasional City Space set that I find on great discount. 6 sets over $100. They are the train station, the freight train, ski and climbing center. My son really wants this one. I got to get it for him sometime. Waiting for the discount. The Police Training Academy. That's pretty rough for $100. The Deep Sea Explorer Submarine, also really rough at $110. I think Lego bumped that price because of the new Great White Shark, but wow, that's too much. And then lastly, the $200 Downtown, super cool set. I will get it for personal collection, but passing on all those for investing. We've got Lego Art and the Amazing Spider-Man at $200. Here's the picture of it. I've crushed this one multiple times in videos. I've seen it in person at the Lego store. It's hideous when you get close. The frame and the webbing and all the green is good, but I can't unsee this curved, smooth shoulder, and then the head sticks way too far out. I love Spider-Man, but this one just doesn't do it for me. And then some Friends sets. 2 are over $100. I only invest in Friends when I catch one on clearance in a store, so most likely a pass, but this is the International School. Actually looks like a pretty decent build. Lego's done a fantastic job with the design of the Friends sets over the last few years. And then here's the Beach Amusement Park that looks really awesome to play with. Yeah, 4.4 on brick set, very solid, but there's just not a lot of demand for Friends on the secondary market, but I know some people have done very well investing in Friends sets. And then we get to Gabby's Dollhouse. Those are below $100. All the brickheads are of course below $100. Got some Minecraft, and it looks like only one, the Iron Golem Fortress, is over $100. Here's a picture of that one. As I've said before, I basically don't invest in Minecraft. I know they can do do okay. The movie is coming out in 2025. That'll give some of these a pop, but I've seen a few Minecrafts on the Walmart shelves 50% off, and I've been passing on again because I don't want to dive into another SKU or another theme. And then the seasonal sets are, oh no, there is one that's $100. The Family Reunion Celebration. I really want this for a personal collection. 1 year shelf life, really well designed. I love the color choices and all the details. And then there's tons of interior detail, lots of minifigures, 4.4 on brick set, and it's $130 for 18 23 pieces and 13 minifigures. And it definitely will go in with some cities. So for the right discount, I could see myself picking some of these up. And then Lego Classic are below $100, plus I wouldn't highlight those anyways. And then Lego Exclusive, and this is the last set to look at, and it is Icons of Play. I don't think anybody knows about this set, and only 3 stars on lego.com when basically every set is 4.5 or higher. It's already 30% off. Maybe at $20 I would pick it up, but this is going to be a major loss on the secondary market. All right, that's my big highlight of all of the retiring $100 plus sets. I gave you my 10 and even 11 that I am watching most closely, and then a few quick thoughts on all the other ones. I'll do the same thing in my next video for all of the less than $100 sets. Thanks a lot for watching this one. That's a wrap, and I will see you in the next one.